I'm Robert Cardoza, and you're watching On the Street, the intersection of business and politics. This is where, regardless of your political persuasion, we're going to tell you exactly how it is. We're going to sift all the information that's coming in, find out what the truth is, analyze that, and give you the truth whether you like it or not. This is the only place where you're going to be able to get that. Now today, it's going to be an interesting show. We're certainly going to talk about sequestration again today. We're also going to talk about something that's even more important than the national debt. We'll be talking about that today. We'll be talking about new legislation, which actually is the sequestration, and the fact that, you know what, it might not be so bad, and it might have been planned all along the way that it's going. My guest today will be Gil Savage. Gil Savage is a regional director and member of the board of directors for community theaters. We'll talk about that. And we'll also have the good news and the bad news and emails, which you know we're talking about. But first, let's talk about what's in the news. And the first thing that's in the news is our debt, and that's the $16.6 trillion that's sitting out there. But you know what? That's not what we need to worry about here today. The national debt is really controllable, and they're working on that, and they're doing it kind of behind the scenes, making you think that we have this god-awful cliffs going off all the time. I think that's pre-planned. What I'm worried about are federal guarantees. Yeah, federal guarantees. Do you know that we have about $3 trillion in federal loan guarantees sitting out there? And in addition to that, we have $6 trillion in guarantees for what you would call subsidies. That would be college loans, it would be farmer subsidies, it would be energy subsidies, it would be research and development, all those kinds of things that are sitting out there. Yeah, that's a big, big deal going on. And even worse than that, we have $7 trillion in guarantees to the FDIC. So you wonder why we're worried about the banks, we're worried about these subsidies, we're worried about all the things that are controlled here. It's not that $16 trillion of the national debt. It's what happens if any of these things fail and they add this to that national debt, then we really have a problem. But you know what? There are solutions. They're really easy solutions, and everybody wants you to think that it's rocket science, and it's really not. But you know what? Controlling this is an easy thing to do. And so don't kid yourself into believing what is going on. I honestly believe that all of the stuff in sequestration was pre-planned by the administration, by the Senate, by the House, regardless of whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. It was all set up to fall out the way that it is today. Think about this. When we talk about sequestration, we're going to talk about the new laws of sequestration in our next segment. That really is where you're going to find out the real truth about what's going on, what you didn't know about what was going on, and what you're going to say, wow, they pulled the wool over our eyes and they're getting everything they had planned 2 years ago. That's exactly what we're going to talk about when we talk about new legislation. And the reason it's going there is the president signed it into law on March the 1st, whether you liked it or not. So you got to be thinking about those things, and I'll talk to you also why they're so worried about implementing sequestration right now. That'll be interesting. Now I want to remind you one more time that, you know, coming up, I'm going to have Gil Savage. Gil Savage is the regional director for the Association of Community Theaters, and he actually controls California, Nevada, Arizona, and Hawaii. He's also on the board of directors for community theaters, and you're saying, gee, why is On the Street dealing with community theaters? Because it's all about business. It's all about return on investment. Community theater is an investment, but there is a return for you to get. You don't want to forget that. Now, you're only going to get these kinds of information here on the street, where we put everything into a funnel, analyze it, and tell you the truth about what's really going on. You know, when you think about what's in the news and the things that are going on, you know, you have to look at a lot of things. And so what I do is I actually look at the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Huffington Post. I look at MSNBC, Fox News. I look at CBS and all of the different programs. I watch Ed Schultz, and I watch Rachel Maddow, and I watch all of these pundits so that I can gather the data, sift it all through a funnel, and find out what the heck is really going on. Now, you don't have time to do that. I spend hours and hours and hours a week doing that. So, you know, all you really have to do is to watch this show. And our show is available. It's on TiVo, it's on Ustream, it's on YouTube. It's all over the place. There's no reason for you not to see it. Now, you know what? You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+. You can go to YouTube and just search Robert Cardoza Live. All of our shows are going to be right there for you. You don't have to miss any of these things. Now, don't miss it. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about new legislation. We're going to be talking about not just sequestration. We're going to be talking about the internet. There's going to be a couple of plays that go into there, and you don't want to miss this. This is more important to you than what you could ever imagine. Remember that you're watching On the Street, the intersection of business and politics. I'm Robert Cardoza.